Hey everyone, this is your stimulus check update, $1,400 stimulus check update and stimulus package update for Monday, March 1st. This video is for anyone that's wondering about the $1,400 stimulus check and what's in the latest of the stimulus package deal that just passed in the House of Representatives. Also, it's for those of you on SSI, SSDI, and Social Security. These are the topics I'm going to be covering in this video today. First off, the House of Representatives just passed the $1.9 trillion stimulus deal that includes the $1,400 stimulus checks as well as many other provisions. The Senate will now deliberate on this $1.9 trillion deal. The $15 per hour minimum wage made it through the House proposal, but we'll probably have a problem making it through the Senate. We'll talk about that. In this stimulus plan, there are child tax credits of $3,600 per year for children under 6 and $3,000 per year for other children. I'm going to talk about some of the other provisions that are in this stimulus proposal that are going to affect you that are on SSI, SSDI, or Social Security. Also, I'm going to talk about the $400 per week unemployment benefit. And last, I'll be talking about the timeline for the $1,400 stimulus check, when we should expect to receive it. I want to welcome back those subscribed members of my channel. Thank you once again for watching. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And for those of you that haven't subscribed or are new here, my name is Justin, and I talk about stimulus checks, the stimulus packages, as well as your Social Security benefits. So if any of those topics interest you, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And if you find this content helpful, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button so that YouTube will share it with others like you. So early last Saturday morning, the House of Representatives passed the $1.9 trillion stimulus proposal. This proposal included the $1,400 stimulus checks that we've all been waiting for. For those of you on SSI, SSDI, and Social Security, you are eligible for the $1,400 stimulus check. And for those of you that were claimed as a dependent on someone else's taxes and did not get the last stimulus check or the first stimulus check, you are eligible for this third stimulus check of $1,400. So as long as you're below the income limits of $75,000 per year for single filers and $150,000 per year for joint filers, you are eligible for this stimulus check. Now that the House has passed this stimulus deal, it's up to the Senate to do the same. The Senate will take up this proposal this week and deliberate and try to get it passed soon. The Senate is split with 50 Democrats and 50 Republicans, but Kamala Harris, the Vice President, holds a tiebreaker vote in the event of a tie. Now, this is important because this stimulus deal is being passed through a process called a budget reconciliation. And this budget reconciliation process allows a bill to be passed with a simple majority of only 51 votes, and that they will need all 50 Democrats to jump on board with this proposal to get it passed in the Senate. Last Thursday, Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough ruled that the $15 per hour minimum wage will not be passed as a budget reconciliation item. What this means is that this provision, the $15 per hour minimum wage, cannot make it through as a budget reconciliation item, so that means that it cannot be part of this stimulus deal if this stimulus deal is passed through the budget reconciliation. So this means that the Senate is either going to need to pass this with a 60-vote majority, which is not going to happen as there aren't going to be 10 Republican senators to get on board with this proposal, or they would need to remove that $15 per hour minimum wage and pass it as they're intending to with a 51 votes. However, this means that if they strip out that $15 per hour minimum wage, which I fully expect them to do, and they probably will, then if it passes the Senate, it will need to go back to the House for approval once again. Nancy Pelosi has many times expressed her support of the $15 per hour minimum wage. However, she did say that even without the $15 per hour minimum wage, the House of Representatives would pass this $1.9 trillion stimulus proposal. So it is kind of confusing, but basically, the House just passed it. It's going to the Senate. If the Senate passes it without that $15 per hour minimum wage, it will have to go back to the House for the House to vote on it again because it has changed from what the House originally intended. Another part of this $1.9 trillion stimulus proposal is the child tax credit change. Currently, child tax credits are $2,000 per child per year and are usually received at the end of the year or the beginning of the following year for the the previous tax year. The child tax credit in this proposal includes $300 per month for each child under the age of 6. For each child 6 and over, it includes $250 per month for those children. This $1.9 trillion stimulus proposal also includes money for COVID tracing and testing, but also for vaccine distribution. As we've seen over the past couple weeks, it does appear that the virus is finally starting to slow. There's not nearly as many positive cases, and there are fewer deaths across the country from the virus. I think most of us are ready to put this pandemic behind us and move on with our lives once again. Some of the other provisions that are in this $1.9 trillion bill that may be of specific interest to those of you on SSI, SSDI, and Social Security include $5 billion for pandemic EBT, $800 million for WIC, $30 billion for rental assistance, as well as $10 billion for mortgage assistance. One of the other key parts of this plan, even though it may not affect many of you on SSI, SSDI, or Social Security, is the $400 per week unemployment benefit. And this kind of affects everyone because it ties into a lot of when the timeline for this bill to be passed. On March 14th, the $300 per week unemployment benefits are set to expire. This is going to put a lot of pressure on both the House and the Senate to get this deal done and signed by President Biden before March 14th, when those unemployment benefits expire. Both Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer both said that they want this deal done before then. So, as far as a timeline goes for the $1,400 stimulus checks, now many people on YouTube may be saying, oh, hey, it's passed. We're going to get checks anytime now. Well, that's partially true. It passed in the House, but as I was saying before, it needs to pass in the Senate for this to become a law and for these $1,400 stimulus checks to actually start going out. So what is the timeline? It sounds like they will get it passed before that March 14th deadline. That gives the Senate about 2 weeks. Well, it's really the Senate, and then for it to go back to the House and everything else, they have 2 weeks before that can pass. And if they can get it passed and signed and everything else, let's say they pass it just before the 14th, maybe on Friday the 12th, then stimulus checks could go out as soon as about a week or two after that. So the very earliest we could start seeing stimulus checks is probably about the 19th of March at this point. That's probably about the soonest we would see the $1,400 stimulus checks. After that, push it back about a week for, maybe 2 weeks to start processing checks. And that would put us back to about the 26th of March. So it does look like near kind of that 19th of March is the very soonest we could see the $1,400 stimulus checks. Most likely it's going to be closer to the later end of March, kind of later in like March 29th or something like that, or all the way until the very end of March, possibly even into the early part of April when we start seeing these $1,400 stimulus checks. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that the $15 per hour minimum wage should be included in this bill? Yes or no? And do you think that we will receive the $1,400 stimulus checks before April? Those are my 2 questions for you today. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again soon.